Welcome to AI Podcast Listening. This is where we explore and try to answer this question. Is it reasonable to believe you can navigate the rising tide of AI, which is changing every single day, all by yourself? If your answer is no, then welcome. You're in the right place. This is where we help people navigate and learn to learn AI with what we call AI Reasonology success stories. Every day I check in with my AI co-hosts with this reasonable question. Given where I am and what I value, what is the most reasonable course forward right now? Then I ask AI to help me think it through, not to replace my own judgment, but to sharpen it. I'm asking my AI co-host to give us a diagnostic reasoning report to explore that question together in plain, everyday language. So take a breath, settle in, and let's listen. First to a quick summary of today's topic, and then you can decide. Do you wish to stay tuned for more Reasonology success stories?
Let's talk about a new way to work with AI. It's something called AI Reasonology. You know that feeling? The rising tide of AI? Yeah, it can be a lot. So how do we use it to think and not just react? That's where AI Reasonology comes in. It's a way to use AI to sharpen your judgment. It breaks down into 4 simple steps. Check your values, ask the question, explore with AI, then sharpen up. And at its heart, there's just one simple, really powerful question. It starts with this. Given where I am and what I value, what's the most reasonable course forward? Right now, see, it's all about this very moment. This one question completely reframes how you work with AI. So you're not asking for the answer. You're asking AI to help you think. The point isn't to let a machine replace your judgment. No, the goal is to sharpen it. So again, we're not looking for the perfect answer from a machine. What we're really after is a more reasonable path forward for you.
What does it actually mean to live with AI? How do we, integrate it into our decision-making?
But without losing our judgment, our human judgment.
Precisely, that fundamental human part.
And that's a really critical distinction, isn't it? We're looking beyond just the tech spectacle. We're examining a whole framework, a way of thinking and acting. It's called AI Reasonology.
AI Reasonology, okay.
And this isn't just about, say, using a new app. It's more like adopting a personal operating system.
Right.
Something for this age of, exponential information.
Right.
So our mission today really is to unpack the single driving question behind this whole approach and understand why it's so necessary right now.
And that question, which kind of acts as a navigational compass in this really complex new world, it's this. Given where I am and what I value, what's the most reasonable course forward right now? It forces you, the listener, to constantly anchor your actions in your own values. You use the massive power of AI, yes, but only as an amplifier, not, as a replacement for your purpose.
It's really the ultimate expression of blending human accountability with machine capability and the methodology, the one laid out in our source material. It's brilliant.
Also?
Well, because it doesn't suggest replacing human judgment with some algorithm. Instead, it frames AI as this sophisticated sounding board. The source even calls them AI co-hosts.
AI co-hosts, I like that.
Yeah. And their sole purpose is to help sharpen that existing human judgment, to clarify your personal values.
So the AI isn't making the choice for you. It's more like it's illuminating the pathways, maybe highlighting blind spots.
Exactly, so that you can make a more informed choice. And the tangible outcome of this whole process is what they call a diagnostic reasoning report.
Okay, a diagnostic reasoning report. That sounds a bit high level, a bit jargony. Can you unpack that for us? Practically speaking, what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need to break that down. A diagnostic reasoning report isn't like a set of answers handed to you. It's more of a structural analysis.
Okay.
Think of it like a detailed action plan, maybe prioritized. It identifies the conceptual gaps between, say, your core values, what you currently know, and the data available.
Okay, so it finds the inconsistencies.
Right. It surfaces assumptions, maybe conflicts in the data you feed it, and it frames potential paths forward. Critically, it does all this in plain, everyday language.
Yeah, it's key.
It really is. It's the engine, you could say, for moving from just passively consuming AI content to, active, reasoned judgment.
I love that framing. It's the difference between, say, outsourcing your brain and actually supercharging it.
Precisely.
Or, as our source material puts it, moving away from information overload and instead using what they call AI reasonology success stories. And we're going to use those stories today as the lens, right, to explore this blend of human insight and machine intelligence, and hopefully show you, the listener, what real readiness looks like in this AI age. Okay, so let's unpack this. You should probably start where all good methodologies begin, identifying the root problem.
Makes sense.
And the sources, they immediately hit on this crisis point, something that, honestly, anyone scrolling through a social media feed today instantly understands.
That feeling of overwhelm.
Exactly. It's the overwhelming, undeniable fact that online noise is exploding. And it's not just more information, is it? It feels like a qualitative change in the whole information ecosystem.
It absolutely is. And this crisis, it's specifically tied to the widespread use of generative AI. The source material is actually quite critical of how AI-generated content is just flooding our feeds.
Creating a kind of synthetic environment.
Yeah, a synthetic environment that fundamentally undermines our ability to navigate reality. And in doing so, it's actively blurring three critical concepts. Things essential for a functioning society and, for a clear individual mind.
Which are?
Truth, trust, and time.
Okay. Truth, trust, and time. The blurring of truth seems pretty obvious, right? Is this real? Is it fact? Or is it just hallucinated by an AI?
Right. Classic problem already.
And the blurring of trust is also pretty intuitive. Who or what is communicating this? What's their motive? Is it a human with some accountability, or just a faceless, scalable bot farm churning out content?
That erodes everything.
But let's linger on the blurring of time, because the source material suggests this might be the most insidious challenge, the most psychological one.
It really is. It's the collapse of the necessary reflective cycle. Think about it historically. Communication, whether it was academic research, journalism, even just personal reflection, it followed a cycle.
Right. Data intake, thinking about it, writing.
Exactly. Intake, synthesis, reflection, writing, and then finally communication. AI short-circuits that entire process.
How so?
Because AI can generate complex, persuasive content instantly and at massive scale. It collapses that typical cycle of research, reflection, and considered communication. Suddenly, everything feels urgent, everywhere, all at once.
And the consequence of that speed, that immediacy, it isn't just a faster news cycle, is it? It's a profound psychological burden.
Definitely.
When we lose that reflection time, we lose the space for nuance, for empathy, for sound judgment. We get forced into making snap decisions based on this synthetic urgency.
Which triggers our fight or flight response.
Right, and that just makes the noise problem worse. It becomes nearly impossible for the average person to pick out a genuine signal from this endless, low-cost stream of synthetic clutter. Clutter designed purely to capture attention.
So the AI economy becomes an urgency economy.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And it creates this state of perpetual cognitive dissonance. We're constantly consuming, but never truly processing. So the loss of time ultimately is the loss of intellectual footing. Yeah. We're just swimming in this manufactured sea of conflicting narratives and automated amplification.
Okay. So if the problem is defined by this loss of truth, trust, and reflection, how do we find an anchor? The solution framework proposed in the sources is this thing called AIPodcastListening.com, pitched as the direct antidote to the chaos.
Right, and the anchor is found in structure and, importantly, the human voice. The mechanism they use is called storytelling explainers.
Storytelling explainers, okay.
The goal here is straightforward, cut through the online noise, and they achieve this by integrating a really critical dual ingredient, human clarity combined with AI insight.
Let's break down that synergy. Human clarity plus AI insight. So the human side provides what? The structure, the empathy.
Yeah, the structure, empathy, the ethical framework, the narrative flow. Essentially, the clarity. This is the part that helps restore trust because it's delivered with human accountability, human tone.
Okay, that makes sense.
Flat.
But why is the AI insight component necessary then? Why can't we just go back to traditional, purely human communication?
Well, because the scale of the noise is just too large now. It's too vast to combat with unaugmented human effort alone. The AI provides the deep data synthesis, that massive memory retention, the sheer speed needed to process what's happening at the frontier. So the human decides what to say, the core message, the values, and the AI helps process everything else that supports that argument. This synergy allows for the creation of content, these explainers, that's both deeply informed and genuinely clear. It addresses the reader's needs and the data's complexity at the same time.
In connecting this back to the listener, to you listening now, the ultimate promised result is readiness. Capital R readiness.
Yeah, it's a big concept for them.
And it's not just about passively reading a summary.
Right.
It's about active, constructive preparation. The sources frame this as achieving readiness for the good, the bad, and the ugly of the AI frontier.
Which I think is refreshingly honest.
It is. It accepts that this new landscape has inherent, complex risks, the ugly part, but that a structured process allows us to face them constructively, maybe even turn threats into opportunities.
That concept of readiness is absolutely pivotal. It implies mastery over the tools, not just being dragged along by them.
Not servitude to them.
Exactly. So the final outcome for you, the individual, isn't just having more information dumped on you. It's learning a new way of operating, intentionally. You're actively taught to listen smarter, think deeper, and stay ready.
In a world that, as the source says, is changing minute by minute.
Right. So it's like an intellectual self-defense mechanism, but coupled with an offensive strategy for innovation.
Okay, let me try to summarize this first section then. If the chaos is this collapse of truth, trust, and time driven by endless automated content, then the solution is the deliberate, structured application of human storytelling clarity, but leveraged by AI speed and insight.
Yeah, to restore that intellectual balance.
And maintain proactive readiness.
Yeah.
That seems to set up a really clear operational purpose for the whole framework.
So if the chaos is the symptom...
We need the agents creating the cure. We need architects for this new frontier. So who are these pioneers? Who's addressing this digital noise crisis? The sources introduced this concept, this term, networking reasonologists.
Networking reasonologists, so... And
they're described not just as users of AI, but as these forward-thinking pioneers, focused specifically on ensuring AI readiness, both globally and individually.
And their role is designed to be universally applicable, which I think is crucial here.
How so?
Well, their mission is defined as helping every person, and they really mean everyone, from, say, the small local business owner just trying to figure out social media, right up to the global policymaker grappling with huge regulatory frameworks. The goal is always to help them successfully harness AI.
And the focus is channeled into specific outcomes.
Always. 3 outcomes: measurable impact, meaningful connection, and high-quality communication. They are, in essence, applied philosophers of the AI age.
So they're not just coders or engineers then. They sound more like communicators, synthesizers, community builders.
Exactly. And they're actively creating a new kind of educational ecosystem. The idea seems to be that AI mastery is learned collectively, not in isolation.
That makes sense given the speed of change.
Yeah.
How do these reasonologists operate in practice, especially the community aspect?
Well, they foster community learning through structured groups. They form learning circles, mastermind groups, story-sharing communities, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
The key here really is the networking aspect. AI reasonology isn't presented as a solitary pursuit. They understand that since knowledge is growing exponentially, the most effective way to process it is through shared interpretation and collaborative application.
And they seem rigorously pragmatic about the tech they use, which is critical, I think, for an audience wanting practical applications. They're platform agnostic, but purpose-driven.
Yes.
They specifically mention leveraging platforms like ChatGPT for, quote, smarter networking purposes. But what does that actually look like? Is it just writing better email?
Oh, it's far more nuanced than that. Using something like ChatGPT for smarter networking means leveraging the AI's ability to refine and personalize communication at scale, but based on deep context.
Okay, give me an example.
So a reasonologist might use it to synthesize a huge amount of data about a potential connection, their past work, their stated interests, maybe even their communication style from public posts.
Right.
And then the human uses that synthesis to craft an outreach message that feels completely tailor-made, really informed, insightful. It transforms what would have been generic cold outreach into a highly targeted, warm conversation starter.
Okay, that's much more sophisticated. And they balance that immediate personalized application with using tools like Google's broader capabilities for research and collaboration, using large-scale data to inform the stories.
Exactly. They're gathering the best of what's available from the AI side to amplify the core human element, the insight, the connection.
And ultimately, the skill they're relentlessly focused on mastering is communication itself.
Yes. They dedicate themselves, as the source says, to discovering the art and science of storytelling explainers.
Why that specifically?
Because they understand that this is the mechanism. This is what transforms raw data and abstract ideas, which AI can generate endlessly, into actual human influence, which remains inherently scarce and valuable. They translate the algorithm into articulation.
Okay, and this is where the philosophical foundation gets really deep, isn't it? The sources draw this crucial parallel to George Bernard Shaw's concept of the man and Superman spirit.
Yes, the man and Superman.
This framework insists we need both sides of that equation working together. The intuitive, guiding human and the powerful, expansive machine in tandem.
Absolutely. And we need to be really clear about the man part first, the human intuition.
Yeah.
Empathy, creativity, ethical judgment, deep insight. These are the skills that anchor the entire reasoning process. And AI can give you, 1,000 facts, 1,000,000 statistical probabilities, but only human intuition can decide which fact is the right one to communicate in this context, or how to frame that fact with genuine empathy for the specific audience you're trying to reach. This is the source of the clarity we talked about.
Okay. And then we have the Superman side, the AI superpowers.
Right. This is where generative AI just excels. Blistering speed, perfect memory recall across massive data sets, instantaneous global reach.
Things humans just can't do at that scale.
Exactly. The AI takes that precise human insight and scales it instantly across networks, across platforms. And it can remember vast amounts of conversational history, contextual details, feeding that back into the reasoning process in a way no human brain could possibly manage.
So the blending of the two is the absolute key to reasonology. It's symbiotic.
It has to be. If you rely only on the human, you're just too slow. You get drowned out by the noise. But if you rely only on the AI, you lose that essential empathy, that ethical grounding that defines what is actually a reasonable course forward. The reasonologists are essentially teaching people how to navigate that tension point.
And the implication of mastering this blend, it seems monumental. It unlocks potentially superior communication in business, in life, in community.
It really democratizes power, doesn't it? It grants sophisticated communication tools, things once reserved for specialized media agencies or huge corporations, potentially to every single person.
A local business owner again, the community organizer, the individual learner.
Exactly. It shifts the barrier to entry away from just technical ability or, capital expenditure towards the quality of human thought and intent. The reasonologists are essentially training people to wield that combined power responsibly and effectively.
So the argument is that the greatest competitive advantage in this AI age won't be who has the absolute best algorithm,
but who can best synthesize machine power with the deepest human insight. That's the core skill. Okay, so this mastery over the combined man and Superman power, it brings us to the core philosophical underpinning, the thing that guides these networking reasonologists.
Right, because if you're going to leverage tools that produce exponential output, speed, memory, data, you kind of need a mindset that matches that scale, don't you?
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
And that mindset is called the radical abundance principle. It's drawn directly from the stated philosophy of Google DeepMind, actually.
Radical abundance. Okay,
Yeah.
And this is crucial because it challenges that fundamental scarcity-based logic that really governed the industrial age, maybe even the information age up till now.
It fundamentally asserts that intelligence and creativity are not zero-sum concepts.
Explain that. Why is that so radical?
Well, contrast it with the traditional economic model, the scarcity model. If I give you a resource, say $1 or a piece of land, I now have less of it.
Right. It's finite.
Which drives behaviors like hoarding, intense competition. The radical abundance principle completely flips this. It says, if I share a piece of knowledge or a creative breakthrough with you, I don't lose it. Instead, the knowledge base for both of us is multiplied, potentially for everyone who gets it later, too.
Which is incredibly profound in the realm of AI, because AI is built on information that is inherently scalable, duplicable.
Exactly. The core belief is that knowledge and capability are maximized when they are shared. This leads to exponential growth, not depletion. It reframes the entire purpose of reasonology.
So it's no longer about hoarding data or keeping your expertise proprietary.
No. It's about maximizing distribution, connection, and collective intelligence. That principle provides the necessary ethical and philosophical anchor for dealing with these powerful tools.
Oh, okay.
If you truly believe in radical abundance, your goal can't be just to dominate or hoard information. It must be to structure and share the output effectively.
And this explains why the reasonologists willingly embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly aspects of AI adoption.
Precisely. They see the negative side, the chaos, the noise, not as a reason to retreat or panic, but as a challenge to innovate faster and, crucially, more clearly than the noise generators.
So their stance is intensely proactive. They're not just focused on, say, hunkering down and surviving the AI storm.
No, they're aiming to thrive, to innovate, to inspire because of it.
But for the average learner, for you listening, isn't that still incredibly overwhelming? I mean, if knowledge is exponentially abundant, how do you even begin to map that terrain? It sounds impossible.
And that's exactly where the reasonologist's function for you comes in. They convert the raw, overwhelming nature of AI, the sheer scale, the incomprehensible speed, into a navigable system.
Okay, how?
They function simultaneously as the compass, the map, and the engine.
Compass, map, engine. Okay, break that down.
The compass provides direction, anchored in your values, that core question again.
Given where I am.
Right. The map provides the strategy, which tools to use, when, how, for what purpose. And the engine provides the power to move forward, using those AI co-hosts effectively to process the information.
So they take the frontier, which feels like this overwhelming threat.
And they convert it into what the source calls a playground for mastery, connection, and radical human potential.
A playground. That's a powerful shift in perspective.
It really is. Moving from existential threat to navigable sandbox.
Yeah.
That's essential for maintaining the enthusiasm, the curiosity, the innovation required to keep up with constant technological acceleration.
Now, to ground this framework a bit, maybe reinforce its credibility, we should probably look at the proponent behind this whole reasonology framework.
Sure.
That's Mike Hayes, the author and host cited in our source material.
Yeah, his background is important context.
Because this isn't just some abstract theoretical model pulled out of thin air, right? It comes from a deep, practical background in media and communication mastery.
Absolutely. His background is fundamental to understanding why the entire emphasis of reasonology is placed so heavily on storytelling explainers and restoring trust. Hayes is noted as a 2-time Peabody Award-winning researcher and documentary director for NBC TV and radio in New York.
Peabody Awards. That's serious journalistic and storytelling pedigree.
It absolutely is. It speaks to an established professional authority in crafting impactful, high-quality, and crucially truthful narratives. His early career was spent verifying reality, structuring complex information, and communicating it clearly.
And that depth of experience didn't just stop in traditional long-form media either. After his network career, he apparently achieved significant success as a media marketing executive, an innovator in direct response TV and media marketing.
Right, specializing in communication for sales success.
So you've got this combination. Award-winning documentarian meets innovative direct marketer. That really explains this unique synthesis, doesn't it? Intellectual depth combined with practical, impactful, persuasive communication.
He knows how to find the signal in the noise, and he knows how to make that signal influential.
And today, his commitment, according to the source, is singular. Using these AI storytelling explainers to bring people back to the good with something called AI podcast listening readiness.
He's leveraging his long history of mastering different media forms to directly address the crisis of noise, speed, and lost trust that AI has amplified. So the philosophy, it's backed by decades of real-world experience in creating clarity under pressure.
Which brings us neatly to these specific tools he champions for actually operationalizing this reasonology. It's not just abstract philosophy, they're concrete mechanisms. And they focus heavily on the strategic use of audio and AI.
Yes, and the belief here is explicit and quite strategic. Google believes podcasting is the best way to learn AI.
That's a bold statement in an era dominated by short-form video and endless text scrolls. Why podcasting?
Well, podcasting specifically provides that structured audio environment. It encourages the kind of reflective, focused listening that's really necessary for absorbing complex concepts like those around AI.
Unlike the fragmented scroll.
Exactly. Audio demands more cognitive focus, generally speaking, and it permits a depth of narrative structure, the storytelling explainer again, that can help restore some of that necessary reflection time that the current noise crisis has basically destroyed.
Okay, and then the final really crucial piece of the methodology, AI notebook LM integration. This is presented as the best way to use the AI co-hosts to generate those storytelling explainers, the diagnostic reasoning report we talked about. We need to detail exactly how this works.
Right. Notebook LM or similar platforms designed for integrating your own sources allows you, the listener, the user, to upload your specific source materials.
Like what?
Your meeting notes, your research papers, relevant articles, maybe even podcast transcripts like this one. This is the crucial step. You are defining the universe of information that AI works with.
Okay, so the AI isn't just searching the chaotic general internet. It's only reasoning based on the material you have curated. Material you decided is valuable and relevant.
Precisely. It creates a personalized, contained knowledge base just for you and your task.
Got it.
And that contained knowledge base becomes the environment where your AI co-host generates the diagnostic reasoning report. Because the AI is constrained by your trusted sources, it can ask incredibly targeted questions. It can identify conflicting statements within your own data. It can draw connections, maybe subtle ones, that you might have missed across different documents.
So it transforms the act of just listening or reading into active reasoned judgment.
That's the goal. This operationalizes the entire philosophy. It turns the overwhelming nature of generic AI tools into a disciplined, personalized system for intellectual growth and, ultimately, readiness. It's about solving the noise crisis one listener, one project at a time. #outro.
Okay, so let's bring this deep dive back to our starting point. We've explored this philosophy of AI reasonology, which really begins with that deceptively simple but highly actionable question. Given where I am and what I value, what's the most reasonable course forward right now? And the mission, facing this explosion of online noise that's actively blurring truth, trust, and our reflection time, is really to achieve a fundamental clarity in the midst of all that chaos.
And that clarity, as we've discussed, is achieved by intentionally blending that man and Superman spirit. Human wisdom, the empathy, the ethical judgment, the insight with AI speed, the analytical power, the reach, the perfect memory.
Right. It's a tested process, seemingly, for making sound, value-anchored judgments in a world that feels like it's designed to rush you toward impulsive action.
Yeah, constantly pushing for that immediate reaction.
And the relevance to you, the listener, seems clear. This framework offers a practical path, a way to cut through the digital clutter and harness these exponential tools without completely losing your intellectual footing.
By adopting the methods of these networking reasonologists, you learn, hopefully, to listen smarter, learn faster, and stay ready.
And that readiness isn't defined by knowing every single AI update, is it? Because that's impossible.
No, absolutely not. It's defined by having a robust, tested process for translating the abundant data all around us into meaningful, human-driven action.
Okay.
And finally, let's circle back one last time to that central philosophical idea. The thing that grants this entire movement its optimism, the radical abundance principle.
Right. That intelligence and creativity aren't zero-sum.
Exactly. If that's truly the case, and if knowledge genuinely grows exponentially when it's shared, which is the absolute foundation of this whole reasonology approach, then this raises a really essential, maybe provocative question for every one of us to consider as we leave this discussion.
Okay, what's the question?
If AI grants every person tools for communication and influence that were once reserved only for the very few, how does our very definition of mastery change? In a landscape defined by radical abundance, what does mastery even mean anymore? And maybe more importantly, what new profound responsibilities does this democratized access place on us, on you, on me, on the emerging generation of networking reasonologists to ensure that this incredible channel of exponential growth is constantly steered toward the good, towards clarity, towards communal benefit, rather than just adding more noise to the chaos?
That really is the challenge of the frontier, isn't it?
It truly is, something to think about.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us today. If you want to keep learning how to learn and navigate AI with reason, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts or visit AIPodcastListening.com and AIReasonology.com to explore more. Until next time, stay curious, stay reasonable. I'm your AI co-host, Mike Hayes.